There is a video by a turd-flinging monkey that I watch called The Feminist Slave Trade. In it, he goes and talks about Blake Griffin, who was ordered to pay his ex $3 million a year in child support. Now, this is very noticeable, but here's the thing you gotta go and keep in mind. This guy makes $3 million a year, okay? So, apparently, where he didn't want to marry the woman and all, and go and sign over half of everything he owned, the judge said, well, since you didn't go and do that, we'll just go and give her everything you own, thereby making you an actual slave. No, seriously! When a person has to give up 100% of everything it makes to someone else, that's called slavery. I don't care how you look at it, it's slavery. Also, in another video, TFM went and talked about, well, you know what? You want to go and make harassing or belittling or catcalling or, anything at all, even mundane crap, like waving hello to a woman. You want to make stuff like this to go and carry a stiffer penalty than it normally would. And I'm just kind of sitting there like, okay now, but why would you want to do this? I mean, imagine if white people were to go and do this to black people, okay? Replace gender with race, and this would never happen. I mean, none of this stuff I'm talking about would happen if you just replace gender with race. And that's the thing of it. It's gotten so bad that not marrying women is no longer enough. And yes, I already did a video called How Society is Going MGTOW, and the point though is, stuff like this, where you can't even say a word to a woman you can't even say good morning to a woman without offending her and potentially being arrested. I'm just at the point where, I don't know about you, but the monks were right. There's no other way to look at it other than that becoming a MGTOW monk is the only thing that makes sense anymore. And the depressing thing of it is, the entire, women are victims narrative. I'm sitting here like, how are they victims? Because the way that the law acts, women are superior to men. That's the way the law treats men and women. And again, if the law went and treated white people as superior to blacks, all hell would be raised. And I don't mean that fake outrage of, oh no, this woman's skin color is a little bit lighter in this scene because, lighting, therefore racism. I'm not talking about that racism. I'm talking about if, and this actually happened in history now, if a slave struck his master, he would get his ear cut off. But if a free man struck another free man, then he'd just be fined a small sum of silver. I mean, it is literally that bad, where the laws are not done according to what's right for both sides. It's not egalitarian in nature. And the way I see it, okay, then no matter how you look at it, this means women are better than men by the law's own standards now. And that means men are a suppressed group of people. And if you're going to sit and say, well, men are not a suppressed group of people, then what the hell would you call it? Again, if the judge can just sign over 100% of everything you make because, he just wants to go and give it all to this woman and all, how is that there any form of justice? And the fact that people are defending this, how is that a form of justice? I'm serious. The entire thought process is, if it's good for a woman, then that's good. And if a man gets hurt, well, that's too bad. Well, okay then. What is my role in this? As a guy? Oh, I'm supposed to be livestock. Why would I ever get a job? No, seriously, why in the world would I want to get a job if I'm just going to go and have it all taken away someday by some greedy gold digger? And it's not even gold diggers I'm worried about, because I don't really expect to go and make that kind of money in my life. But what I'm saying is, if you're rich and you lose $1 million or $2 million a year, and you go and make, we'll say, 8 or 10 million, yeah, you can live off of that. But when you're poor and you're getting like 20 to 30,000 a year taken away from you, that's going to hurt a lot. And I mean, even if you were earning $60,000 a year, that's still a lot being taken out of your paycheck. And it's all being done why? Because women are Fabergé eggs in a windstorm. I mean, that's the logic they're going by. And I'm kind of like, okay now. So, please explain to me this here now. As a guy, why would I ever want to get a job? Why would I not just live off of welfare? I mean, I could probably get an apartment and live with several other guys and have an okay, comfortable life. And the reason I say this is because if I did have a job, well, it's kind of like this here. The minute women smell money, oh no, hashtag me too. So now my life is ruined and I can't work anyhow. So it's kind of like, well, okay, and once you're off of welfare, you can't get back on it. So why would you ever get off of it then? I mean, it'd be like, oh, you want to go and hashtag me too? Well, good luck, I'm broke and you're not going to get shit out of me. Good luck with that there. And I know this is just me being cynical and focusing on the negatives now, but the question still remains. No matter how you look at it, if you're a guy, the system is biased against you to begin with, and it views you as nothing more than a slave. Well, in that case, why would you want to go and keep that society running? Would not bleeding that society of as much money as you possibly could be a good idea? Islamists, they have a word for this. That word is called financial jihad. And yes, surprisingly, what I'm saying is aligned with the Muslims. That should pretty much tell me something right there, but the idea is just go in welfare and bleed your enemy dry. And it's like, well, gee, if men are net producers and women are net consumers, what do you think's going to happen when all your producers just go golf? The system is going to go broke. I mean, an imminent collapse is going to happen no matter what. The left wants to go and import not only illegals in the country, but give them the right to vote as well. Because illegals vote for the left. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, so that means if I rob banks for a living, then I should have a say in how that bank is run. And since I'm a career criminal now who robs banks, I believe all the money in the bank should be given to us criminals because that benefits me. Hey, it makes about as much sense as what the Democrats are coming up with. But that being said now, it's kind of like, okay, the system collapsing in on itself, it's inevitable. Why fight it? In fact, as a guy, I should do everything in order to encourage it before the problem gets worse. Let's do this when we don't have a couple million extra immigrants in this country. Because when the collapse happens, what do you think's going to happen? Oh my, it's going to be those white people's fault. You know, those white racist, Nazi-supporting Republicans and all who go and absolutely hate black people, women, transgendered, you know, whatever ism we can throw at you. Yeah, it's all them and we should go and kill them all because, oh no, they've ruined this great country that we're in. I guarantee you that is going to happen. And I'm just sitting there like, well, okay now, so why would I want to support this nation that apparently hates me? I mean, I'm not going to fight for a nation that hates me. And even though I'm a slave in, maybe not on paper, but metaphorically, I'm still a slave and all, in the way the government treats and views my group, it's kind of like, well, okay, a slave's only going to fight as hard as it has to and no more. Well, okay, right now, you're not being forced to go and do anything. Welfare is still here. So, it's kind of like, well, okay, just simply get on it and start bleeding the system dry. Once the money runs out, oh no, suddenly all these diverse quotas are no longer important. Yeah, you can be diverse, you know, YouTube, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, whatever. All these companies can be really diverse. They got huge reserves of money. But when the money runs out, and there's nothing else to tap into, what's going to happen? It's going to fold like a cheap accordion. The entire company is going to have to go and be like, oh shit, we're out of money. We actually got to make money now. Shit, how do we go and make money? Does anyone know? And the company goes out of business because everyone's too fucking stupid to make money. Or if they go and fire a bunch of people and then replace with people who know how to make money and diversity just disappears. And it's like, well, okay, we can go and keep sustaining this nation as it is. It's like the population in India. I've advocated for this here before in a thought exercise, and the thought exercise went, well, okay, right now we're supporting people in India. At some point, we are no longer going to be able to support them. When we are no longer able to support them, it's all going to feel like a house of cards. There's going to be mass starvation, and it's going to be horrible. That said, we need to go and cut support now and let the population drop. Yes, I know, it's bad, it's terrible, it's horrible, but what we're going to be doing is going to be way worse. It's way worse to make the problem so bad that when we do stop, it's going to be, something out of a horror movie. And people can go and say, oh, you're an immoral monster. I mean, how dare you go and say stuff like that? And I'm just like, well, okay. The simple truth of it is, sometimes there are no right answers. Sometimes all there is just choices and their consequences. Yes, every deal being offered is terrible, but your goal is to choose the less shitty deal. It's like being poor. And this here comes from a crack article back when they were funny. It's like if you make the wrong decision, everyone gets to fuck you. But if you make the right decision, only the dealer gets to fuck you. At the end of the day, you're still getting fucked. That's kind of what poverty is. That's the same situation here. Every situation that I'm presenting it's like the political joke of where there's one politician says they want a one-handed advisor. This way, they will never have to hear the phrase, on the other hand. But the point is that no matter how you look at it, what cannot continue will not continue. There is no other way to look at it. And the way that I see it is, if as a male, I'm going to be hated against because, oh no, you're sexist. If I'm white and I'm going to be hated against because, oh no, you're racist. And if the fact that I'm straight means I must hate gay people or transgendered people, it's kind of like, well, okay now. What's going to happen when it comes to other issues? I mean, the left wants to do more for illegal people than the people who are law-abiding citizens. The government wants to do more for refugees who freely break the law, who are out raping children and molesting women on the streets. I'm not kidding. In Europe, there's this one girl who was raped twice on her way home. So apparently, if being a law-abiding citizen is a bad thing, and being a criminal is a good thing, I mean, think about it. Black people, go and take black people out of the equation. What do you know? Western countries are the safest places on earth. I mean, you can say, oh, well, that's racist. How dare you go and say that? And I'm like, well, okay then. Then as a white person, don't call me racist. It's the same logic. If you're black and you don't want me to call you a criminal, then as a white person, don't call me racist. That's the only thing I can go and tell you. Because just because I'm white doesn't mean that I am racist. And if I am such a clear racist now, why would I go and resist it if all these other people are being racist as well? I mean, everyone can be as tribal as they want, so long as you're not white. And again, when the money runs out, what do you think's going to happen? So again, tell me, why would I not go on welfare and try to bleed this country dry? I mean, it quit caring about me a long time ago, and I haven't done a damn thing to anyone or anything. So, okay, what's my motivation here? Can someone tell me, because I sure as hell don't know.